Hey, I got a Blu-ray player now. What's up, is a Culture Detective here investigating your favorite movies, and today I'm going to be doing a very fast movie review on The People's Joker, which is a movie written and directed and starring Vera Drew, and it is a movie that came out 2 years ago but didn't really have any wide release until this year, so I'm going to count it as a film from this year. Now, I'm currently on my last week of the semester, and I took last night, actually 2 nights ago, I took my last class for my Animation Beyond Disney course, which is probably the only class this semester that feels remotely interesting for me. In fact, the film selections for that class has been nothing but amazing. And for the last class, the film the professor picked was The People's Joker. And the night before the class, we got a surprise announcement that Vera Drew herself would show up for a Q&A after the screening. Finally, I feel like my tuition is living up to its extremely expensive price. So, The People's Joker is a parody film where the main character, played by Vera Drew herself, basically goes through it's basically a coming of age story about the trans experience, but it's also a parody of the Joker at the same time. And it is extremely wacky, extremely crazy, and the whole movie feels like brain rot, eyesore, vomit is the best way I can describe this film. I think aesthetically, this film is so all over the place, and it's so 2020s. It's so internet coded. It's admirable in that sense. This entire movie reminds me of a Clarence Clarity music video, and I mean that the best way possible because of how messy it is, the mixed media, analog, comedy, and all the sexual liberation and queer representation. So it's a movie that I am not at mentally and aesthetically, but I can at least admire and appreciate the aesthetics of this movie. Now, that being said though, it's not that memorable of a movie because of how fast paced and jumbled this movie is. I was pretty much not hooked for the most part of the movie. I didn't feel bored at all. I just didn't really feel much about the movie. The story isn't that interesting. It's not that funny either. A lot of the jokes didn't really land on me, unfortunately. It landed for some other people, and I'm really happy for them. But there's still something incredibly punk about this movie that I really like. Also, Vera Drew herself said that when she started making this movie, she didn't plan to like release it publicly. It was a movie for herself and her friends, but it sort of developed more and more and more and turned into a full-blown feature film. But originally the movie isn't even supposed to be a wide release. It's very self-indulgent, and that's something I very admire. It's also, again, punk as fuck. This movie raises a giant middle finger to Warner Brothers. And it is also a movie that's so ridiculously ridiculous that it shocks a lot of people, and I really admire that. And it's interesting because this year there's another film, very indie, very analog film about the trans experience, and that is I Saw the TV Glow, written and directed by Jane Schoenbrun. Absolutely amazing film. Please watch it if you haven't. And it's interesting because the night before Vera Drew did this Q&A, she actually won Best Breakthrough Director at the Gotham Awards, which is pretty cool. In the same category, she's also nominated beside Jane Schoenbrun. Me personally, I would choose Jane Schoenbrun over her, but they're both very similar. And Vera Drew doing the Q&A basically said that both Jane Schoenbrun and her have pretty much the same influences, but they go about the trans experience in very different ways. So that's something interesting to remark. And I don't have that much else to say. It is pretty good, it's pretty fun, it's pretty smart, and deserves a shout out, but not exactly a movie that blew me away or anything. I'm giving The People's Joker a light to decent 7 out of 10. So, have you watched this movie? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.